look, no fog. It was when I did the camera, and I flipped it. There was no fog over there. I was like, man, I wish I could show this part. And then when I flipped it over here, I was like, oh, look at that. No fog today. So we have a clear, clean room. Energetically sound. But it smells weird. Like, it smells so weird. I don't know what it is. I was sitting here. I was still messing about, and that's why we're up. And while I was sitting here doing, get my thing ready and telling her I'm about to start working, it was just like I could smell water. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, because like you can smell the rain before it comes, but it's not like that. It's like way more extreme. Like I'm standing next to an ocean or something. And then I was like, oh my God, is this some sort of prophetic thing happening? Are we about to be next to the ocean? Like, I don't know. Like, what the fuck? I'm having so many weird things all the goddamn time. I don't even, like, I'm not even, I've given up. It's like, I've given up. I'm just in a dream state. I'm having a dream. I'm just living a dream. I'm living in a dream, and that's it. That's all I can do. Like, this is just, things are just so weird and so wacky. And, and yes, Crystal, people fucking, it's a trend, apparently. Let's go in the bathroom together and I'm going to talk about some serious shit while I sit here on the toilet. It's like, it's the weirdest, I don't understand people. Like, there's so many things I just don't understand. And it's being so, oh my gosh, it's so big right now. And I've been, crocheting, and always while I'm crocheting, I'm in deep thought. I'm telling you, crocheting is a great way. Stella needs to learn some fucking relaxation techniques. God damn. And my hair, these pieces are like growing or something. They're like sticking up, and they're making my hair. I don't know. I don't even know. Like, all this shit. It's just, everything is so fucking weird. So, oh, well, let's look up my hair anyways before I just go off, because I am bothered by some stuff. But there's something like, I don't know. This seems weird right there. I don't know. It's probably me. I just got all these other hairs growing in, and then you start getting like, well, are they there still? And then I want to fucking just be like, God damn, how many times have I had to start over with this shit? I think this is the third time that it's grown in. It's like, please, stay growing this time. It's fucking, who knows? You just don't know. Is it a blast of radiation? I know this fucking phone. I mean, I try and even text, my fingertips start burning. It is, so this radiation blast, I don't know. But anyways, that is how much is left in my hair. It's just so weird too, because always in this, it always makes the color look more different. And the thing is so much more of like a yellowish color. It's more like, I don't know how to explain it, but it looks different without these lights on it. So I just feel like it's all of a sudden going to just be kind of like gone, because it's going to lose that contrast. And so once it gets closer to the range of my hair, it'll just be gone. I don't know, this little bit right here might stay like another month or something. Just this part. It's weird because it's like watching like how your pattern of mineral drainage happens. It's like watching it fill back in. It's very interesting to watch yourself go backwards in age. Like you were aging, and all of a sudden you stop, and then you start going the other direction. It's weird. Oh my God, you're so dramatic. Will you please stop? And but one of the things I want to talk about is someone with their dog, and their name is Kelly too, and she has 2 big poodles, and one of her poodles started having nosebleeds in her. She has to keep going to the vet and stuff. I keep telling her, you got to do a parasite cleanse. You got to do the horse paste. People are having such good luck with it. I did. And so I keep telling her, and she keeps taking him to the vet and taking him to the vet. And she was in the vet for a week or days. And then she got out, and she's just super weak. And she just keeps laying there. And I keep telling her, do the paste. And dogs with the autoimmune are having great results, and everything of all this chemical influx is creating autoimmune. It's not like it's being created. Like everybody's getting it. It's just like everybody's getting autism. All these things are being done, and so the paste can counteract it somehow, because most of the things they use to get us sick is a carrier. It's like a bacteria is an agent. It's a parasitic form of some type to go in and attack our system. And so everybody's system's under attack. And so everybody is having these weird things and stuff. And so what everybody needs to do is do detoxing and stuff like that. But, people just keep running to the doctor. And it's so ingrained in people. This morning, she just was doing a video that her and her husband have been up all night talking if it's time to let her go. And I'm just like, you haven't even tried the paste yet, because she keeps saying that she's going to, but her dog's just too weak. It's like, dude, if you give it to her, she will get stronger. Like, I saw the transformation happen in Stella. It's like so frustrating. It's just like, oh man, I can't explain it. You have to see it for yourself. You have to be out of the storyline and watching it. And that's what it is. It's a fucking storyline. It's just a goddamn storyline. It's just like just a movie. It's just a story. But it's frustrating as motherfucker. It's emotionally charged story. You can't be in this story and not have some emotional, this story is here to help us grow, to help us learn, and to watch other people go through their bumpy learning and growing and their experience. And so it's there for that. Oh, yeah, because this, I forgot to talk about this because I had seen it. I talk about these all the time, and I always find them interesting, but I don't watch them anymore and read them and stuff. I used to a long time ago. It's like once you see enough NDEs or read enough, but I believed in them way back when the people were scared to talk about it. Like people would have these happen. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so sick of this shit. This is like a really weird one. It's like it's weird. I don't know how to explain it. It's like they're fucking around, man. Something's fucking around. Fuck, man. Fuck, it's frustrating. You just feel like you're under attack all the time. Okay. Let me think back where I was. Okay, so back in a long time ago, I used to read the books, the NDEs and stuff. And back then too, with reincarnation and stuff, like we were complete oddballs. If you believed in aliens, I mean, Jesus Christ, if you even say it still, but you can imagine what it was like 30, 40 years ago. And so you believed in reincarnation, you believed in aliens, you believed in ghosts, that would get you laughed. But Bigfoot would get you laughed at. Anything that you believed in that people, I don't know, are programmed not to believe in, apparently, is that they laugh at you and they think you're crazy and stupid and weird and whatever. So, there was those of us who knew, like, the whole time. And I was always looking at people like, what, are you kidding? Like, what? Like, I was always, like, looking at people like, weird. Like, this has been very much like a learning thing for sure. But okay, let me think, because that wasn't even what I was going to be talking about for a second. Okay, so, yeah, the NDE thing. Okay, so back then, though, when I had read them, like, the people who would have them, they would be ostracized from their families. They would be told they were crazy. It was all in their head. It never happened and stuff. And you hear them and they're always like, it's way more real than what's going on here. Like, you go out and it's real. And I've been out of my body and I've had all these weird experiences. And in this NDE, she even went through this space that I was talking about that I had gone into. And so I'll explain that too. But so anyways, this person had seen this lady's NDE. It was probably a Christian or something, because this was no way, it wasn't a Christian. No, because she doesn't talk about Jesus. They usually only share ones that talk about Jesus. And the people, there's people who go, but I think it's because they're looking for Jesus. So they need to find Jesus. So it's, you just don't understand how the power in your mind and how much this programming affects people. Is it is all the time. There's all sorts of people who pass out of their body, just like this girl did. And it was so confused because she was told, when she was a little kid, she asked her dad, what happens when you die? He said, nothing. You just die. You just stop living. You just go in the ground and you're not alive anymore. And so she always just thought, okay, you just end at some point. And so then when she came out of her body, she was super confused, just like so many other people. Like, it doesn't all of a sudden, because you go out of your body, that you're like, oh yeah, I'm a soul. Yeah, here I go. No, the people are programmed and they are confused. The people come out of their bodies and they are like scared. They don't know what's going on. Programming sets in. Some people start looking for Jesus, whatever. There's all these different stories, but there's always a commonality. So when you go and read a bunch of them, that's where you put together your pieces, the parts that stick out in stories, the part that stands out to you, the pieces that you need to complete your understanding. So as you are your own researcher, you're your own adventurer. You are the one who is out there to discover what it is that you believe in. Where do you think you came from? What do you think you are? Who do you think you are? What are you doing here? That's for you to discover. And there's multiple reasons and things and stuff. It can be too. Like, don't think it has to just be one thing. I'm pretty convinced at this point I'm just a fucking alien. Like, I don't, like, this is, and it's all in our DNA and stuff. And like, I'm okay with that part. Like, I'm not, I don't know. There's just all different levels here of all different things. But so in this girl's story, she was pretty young. She was, I think she had a boyfriend. It could have been a husband or something. I'm pretty sure it was a boyfriend. And they were at a dinner party or something, and she started feeling really weird. So she went into the bathroom and she started hearing that she was she was going to die. She needed to call. It was an emergency, and she knew if she stood in the bathroom that she was listening to that voice. Every time when I drink that Mullen tea, it starts loosening your chest. So she came out of the bathroom and she started saying, I need somebody to call an ambulance. Something's wrong. And everybody's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Her boyfriend's like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And she's like, I can't breathe. Something's wrong. And he's like, I'll take you to the hospital. They're in some other place. Like, I don't think it was another country or something. They were someplace they didn't know where they were. And they were way out or something. So he's driving to take her. And has no idea, like, I don't know, on this drive, though. So she leaves her body. And so she dies on the drive. And she goes, and the whole experience that she talks about when it was happening, too, because she knew it was happening, because she said it was like this darkness was coming from behind. And she said this darkness was coming and coming and coming, and it was closing in and closing in, and she could feel it coming around her. She could feel it enveloping her. And it was closing and closing and closing and closing, and all of a sudden there was a small dot, and then the dot went out, and then she was out. And it was really cool. Like, this girl really, I explained stuff really, really cool. And so she said when that happened, that she, it was, let me think of the first part, because she was somewhere. It's like, as soon as that happened, she was standing somewhere. And I don't remember how she interpreted it. But she was standing somewhere, it seems like, and then she saw this thing, like a tornado going around. That is what I had said about the thing going around. That, oh, and I was in my living room, and I didn't die. I just left my body. I don't know, I'm more connected to the spiritual side than some people. So a lot of things I say and do seem weird and crazy. But all I can tell you is it's possible for everybody. If it's possible for me, it's possible for everybody. Because this stuff has happened just by accident. Like, this stuff is just like when I came out of my body the first time, it was totally by accident. Well, I had taken too many edibles. I'd ate a bunch of pot brownies, but still, that just relaxed me. It just made me aware, I guess, but it gave me such powerful insight for the rest of my life. That and that happened when I was like 16 years old. And I've always known I'm not my body. I've always known that I'm separate. But I can see myself through this. Like, I can see myself through it because I know what I am. I know what I look like. I know who I am. So I can see the real me. And so there is like and that can give you comfort, I guess. Maybe that is why, I don't conform and bend over and try and, join a group and be like everybody else. Like, I could just stand out here and go like, no. And I'm always and even when there was a group, back in the day with the ufology people, all those people, the weirdos out there that were having experiences and stuff like that, I'm talking to them all the time. And I didn't even realize like the significance of it at the time. It was like a lot more impactful when I was a little kid. And then as I went on, it was just like it was so much a part of me. I didn't even question it anymore. My awareness became of it when I was 3. But then it was, it just became like a part of me. But when I had seen all those people, and I thought, oh man, if that's my group, we're just a bunch of weirdos. Do I want to go hang out with a bunch of weirdos? If I'm just a weirdo, they're all weird. It's like, I'm just better off stand by myself. And so, I've always been able to just do that, not need a group to go along and have like, okay, we're all together on this, so I don't know. We're all different. We're all here learning different things. But so so in her story, she was going up and this thing was going around like a tornado. And she said when she went in, and it seemed like it kind of like pulled her in. It took her in. But that's what happened to me too. It's just like all of a sudden you're in it. And when I was in it, how I described it was like tons and tons and tons of lines. Like if you had a whole bunch of records stacked up, or if you turned a record on its side and you went on the lines of the album. And that too is kind of like, that goes with me with the template in the destiny and the movie script. Like our life is set. Like when you go out onto that reality, when you go out onto that record, you go into that storyline. That storyline is already a storyline. And so when I went in and it was going around, and I had total awareness because I had said, can I bring Stella with me? And they said, yeah, I could hear him loud. And they always talk in your head. And she said that too. When anything you ask, they talk in your head and they say things. But she was very, very confused because she couldn't understand what she was doing, like where she was, why, she was very confused. And so when she went into the thing, it seemed like she said something like it seemed like a tornado of light. And it was swirling around, and there was all these people in there, and they were all going up. And they weren't swirling, they were going up, but it's this energy is swirling because you're not moving, but everything it's like this tornado, like in the Wizard of Oz, and everything's going around you. And so you see this stuff going around you. And then when she popped out, She was in an empty space. All she could see was blackness. That's the same thing that happened to me. When I popped out, or I was pushed out or whatever, because I didn't know where I was going. They were showing me something. Oh my God. See how, this is just harassment. It's these goddamn archons. I swear to motherfucking God. Jesus Christ, come on, hurry up. I'm trying to work. What are you doing now? What are you doing? I'm trying to work. Okay, I'm not playing this game. Go lay down. Go lay down on your bed. No. She goes over there, rings about. See? Ooh. Goes over there, rings about, just turns around, and then just stands there and starts itching herself. Like, dude, God. It's like whenever she's just irritated or she just has to say it. She's just, this is what I've noticed. Because it used to be all the whining and stuff. I thought, oh my God, something's wrong. Oh my God. But we've covered so many things. And she has all this time where she doesn't have any problem whatsoever. She's eating, she's got no problem whatsoever. She's over playing with the other guys, she's got no problem. We're out walking, she's got no problem. Just when we're sitting here, or if I'm doing something, then all of a sudden it's just whine. So, anyways, this is my battle on boundaries lately. I told you they always get tougher. And so anyways, this girl, she comes out and she said that it was like this light of this tunnel thing, but it was like swirling around. And then when she came out, she was in space, and it was just black, empty space. And that's the same thing that happened to me. And when I was moving through space, I could see something up ahead, and it was, and it's not scary or anything. You don't feel scared. It's like you're in the same place, but you're pulling into view. It's like you're cranking your view. It's not like you're out in space, like, oh my God, I can't feel anything. Where am I going? What is that? It's not like that. It's like you're there, but it's like it's clear that I don't know how to explain it, but I thought it was so interesting when she was saying this too, because I was like, oh my God, I've been there. So when I looked out, I saw this thing that looked like a ride, and it was going, and it looked like a ride out of a amusement park or something from far away. And I could hear something, and then I could feel it. I started feeling it all through my body. It was horrible. It was horrible. And I could feel, and the closer I got, I could hear that it was screaming. There was screaming, and then there would be moments of joy. Then there would be screaming. There would be moments of joy. Then there would be screaming. And it was like this, and I could feel it going through me. I could feel the emotions. I could feel the whole sensation. It was intense. And I was like, in my mind, it was like, is this what it's like to be God? To feel it all, to be that connected to all of it, and I don't believe in like a God character, because it's the energy. It's like the energy goes up and up, and we're all energy, but the energy goes up and up and up and up and up to a point of reference, a point of perspective. So there is a point of it's not like overseen, but it's kind of like overseen, but it's kind of like there's just like a top place, like a kind of because it reminds me of the Watchers too. Like, they got nothing to do but watch and learn. They're just watching and learning. Like, it's like this higher states of consciousness. So that is like who you're talking to. It's like the consciousness of the solar system, the mind of the universe. And we're a part of it. So it's easy communication. That's why it's always like, it's always going on. Like you can hear it. But anyways, but you got to tap in, because this place is very distracting, and it cuts people off from being able to hear. So you have to tap into it. You have to pay attention to it. You have to look over that direction. You have to go into those spaces. And they can be places that you don't think existed and stuff, but they do. Like, and so this, you know, that whole experience, it was like, you learn something from it. And this is what the stuff I think goes on at night while we think we're dreaming and stuff. We're going and having these experiences of learning and stuff. That's what I am awareness of. And so whatever it was, it gave me this understanding of these cycles. There's these cycles, and nothing is, and it's always changing. It's always up and down, up and down, up and down. Like sadness is followed by happiness, and that's what we're going through right now. We're going through the sadness part, but it's followed by the happiness part. But this time we're going to stretch the happiness out. In the fucking cycles before, it was sadness, 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 so fucking much. It was so much screaming, so much pain to witness it. But it is like, it was weird because it wasn't like watching it, all this stuff happen. It was like, I don't know how to explain it, because it's like you have this inner knowing, the communication you understand, even though when you explain it, it seems strange. Like, how could you understand that? But you understand it. It's like, you know it, you feel it. Your soul has communication and you don't understand. But so it was like, you know, just understanding of how the cycles go, and everything is temporary, and all that kind of stuff. So I came out of it with a deep understanding of some stuff. And so in her thing, she went, and I'll have to remember, because it seems like she came out of it. Oh yeah, I think this is what happened. She came out of the thing, and she was in empty space. And she said it was just empty space. And then it seems like she saw light too. It was way out there. And it's like you start coming towards it, but it's not like it's strange. I don't know how to explain it, because you're like, you're moving towards it in empty space, but it's not like you're flying or anything. It's like you're just pulling in towards it. And so she was going towards it. I'm pretty sure this is when she saw all this weird light. And then when she was getting closer, and then she saw all these beings. So all this light, these light people were all coming towards her. She said there was a whole bunch of light people coming towards her. And as she got closer to them and she could make out their faces, she started being like, wait a minute, that's my great grandma. That's my grandma. That's my aunt. That's my uncle. Like, she started being like, noticing these are all people I know who have died. And she started going, what is going on here? Where am I? What is going on? What is happening? And it's gonna make me cry, because I always have my grandparents around. And and her great grandma stepped up and told her she died. And so then she was pulled or taken to another place. She went through a lot of things in this. It was the coolest thing, because she, for one thing, was taken to a place where she could see out, and she could see this city. And this may have been when she was in the dark, but this also happened, these people coming. But somewhere in the darkness too, she saw this city, or she was taken somewhere and she saw this big city. And that is the Crystal City, like kind of like how she even explained it was like the Wizard of Oz or something, in the Crystal City. And it's all these different levels. And so there's all these different things going on, just like what I have been saying. And when people die, and people just don't go and just do, like, we're all going to go sit in heaven now. No, it's more busy than this. Like, there's way more going on. But in the Crystalline City, that is like the heavenly city. That is like, she says, like a vacation place. It's like a resort or something. It's like where people go and just rest and relax. And it's like an in-between, a healing center. Or was she talking about another place that was a healing center? I'm pretty sure she was talking about you'd have to see the whole thing. I can find it. It's part 3, but you might be able to find her thing. If you look at the NDEs, she's one that, what happens when an atheist dies. And so then she went, so she saw that city and they said she can't stay there. And they took her to her life review next, I think. And she said the life review was really, really cool. She said that it was like you are watching it, but she said it's not like watching it because you're in it. So you watch it through this experience, but you feel it through other people. So you feel how you affected everybody else. This is where it gets people. When they see their own nastiness and their own hatefulness, that's why it's so much better to be aware of yourself, because you don't spread nastiness and hatefulness, because you have an awareness that there is a repercussion, there is a part of you that has to face that side. And, you know, and it's hard. But you have to understand that. Like, I can explain it and I can understand it. And it's just something that I've always understood. And so, but, you know, everybody's got to figure it out for themselves. But so she said it was really cool because she was experiencing herself. She said she could see when, you know, she did something that hurt somebody, she could see how it really affected them, how it bothered, like it would affect them for years, like something that she said, and how it just would eat at them and make them feel like she had to feel that and feel how it affected. That's what I'm talking about, this karmic balance. When you fucking throw shit out, when you fuck stuff up, and you go through that, that is when people want to go back and fix it. So people are like, you know, they feel driven to fix it, especially like grandparents and stuff. We have so much of our family that's with us all the time. And they're always trying to, you know, help and fix things and be positive and help you along your way. And if you listen to them and you can hear them and stuff, they're very positive. They're trying to, you know, help you, and they're making me feel like I'm going to cry. They're so like a very cheerful, happy energy that they bring of love and caring and acceptance and support. Like, you really always have people with you, and people that care about you. And so, and that they have a draw into wanting to fix things. Like, there's a part of them that's attached. And so they, so she said, you know, that was hard to see. But she said, what's really, really cool is when you do something good. And she said, and you got to see how that affect them. That is the part she took out of it, that she was just like, oh my God, I did so many things that I helped that person feel so much better. And it's like, that was where she was just like, she felt so happy about it, to see that, and felt so good about seeing that when somebody had something really hard going on and she was that kind word and stuff, how much that made a change. And that gave her such insight. And I haven't seen all the parts because I don't even know how she got brought back or any of that stuff. And she was having this really long, at some point they told her she had to go back. And I can't remember. I think, you know, she was suddenly back in her body or something. Or they told her it was going to hurt a lot. I don't remember all her different things, because hers is long and she's really good at telling the story, and it's very detailed. And but I just thought it's so crazy because it had some things that I had talked about just going out. And I've also heard of these people who just go and do like ayahuasca and stuff, will go to that empty space. And I don't know if when you're in this tornado, which I would call, I think she said something about wormholes too. And I don't know if she called that, but that is what I think of. It's like these things, it's not just like there's one and we all have to go to the tunnel, get over there to the tunnel. No, there are wormholes or portals. That's cool too, because on this this visual right here, on this vibe thing, it is a tree, and it's like moving, and it's got all these like colors, like aurora colors, like out around it. But then it has light coming out of the tree, and the tree is moving and swaying, and on the tree it's almost like fairy lights or something, all these lights. So that's the energy, that's the souls, and all of those the energies, and they're all like going up in like this tunnel thing. It's leading up, it's all being pulled, going that tunnel, because that is like we have portals that are all around that we can move, the energy can move through. And but that's cool because it's like the tree of life, the soul's moving, but it's pulling up into that tunnel. But there isn't just one tunnel. And even when she had come out, like you were in an empty space going towards something, and that empty space, I think that is where they have come up with to tell us that there's space. But the empty space isn't like you're out in space. It's not like, it's like you're in the dark. She even said it was so dark, she held her hand up to see if she could see her hand, and she couldn't see anything. But she probably, because she couldn't really hold her hand up. But but the whole thing is, let me think for a second. Because that threw me when I said that about that hand throw. She probably couldn't see her hand. It was like, so now I gotta get back to where I was. Hold on. But I thought that was really interesting, though, about her life review. I think that's the first one I've ever heard that said about going through the experience of seeing the positive things. I don't know if there's, I mean, I have heard before of people saying that there was some really cool things to re-see them or something, you know, like to get to go back and to re-experience holding your baby for the first time again. Like, you know, to go back and relive those like super blissful moments of your life, you know, that has got to feel good. But, you know, most of us have a lot of, you know, stuff. Like in all these sordid relationships, these deep, deep relationships that we've had that have been here to teach us is, they're so entangled. They're so intertwined. It's like, and there is no good or bad. So it's not like you can do, it's not like you can do wrong, but you're still affecting somebody. And so, and this is something I've always known too, is like, even when, you know, I was in all these bad relationships and shit, and whatever I would think or do, because my approach in the relationships is different than what people nowadays, like, it's weird. Like, I think it's so strange, even, it weirds me out to see, like, these girls who, you know, they look good, they're super attractive, and they put on the smallest amount of clothes that they can and do everything they can to show their body like they're just selling themselves. Like it's a goddamn market. Like it's a trade center. Like social media is a trade center. Here, the biggest bidder. The biggest bidder gets me. It's like, I don't know, there's something so strange about what's going on. And then also to me, it's like, what's even stranger, are these people not going out? Like if you're trying to go out and date or go out, you got to go out. Like, and I'm not saying go get on Tinder or go get on Grindr or something, but you got to go out and do stuff. You got to go out and interact with people. That's where you're going to find somebody. You go out and do stuff. This fucking marketing, you're selling yourself on social media to the highest bidder. And then, of course, it's going to be some bullshit. You're having somebody choose you because they like the package. And then they sit there and, well, and he better be this way and this way and this way and this way. It's like, what in the wacky world are we living in? Like, this is just wacky. Like, man, what do people, like, do people think things through? Like, it's so weird. And it's hard to watch, man. It's hard to watch how people just, like, devalue themselves, just throw themselves, just, I'm desperate, somebody, just anybody, who's bidding here, who wants a chance at this. It's like, it's so toxic. And anyways, that's hard to watch. But all that stuff is like for the people to see for themselves. Like everybody's got to see these sides of themselves. But there was something else that, oh, one thing that keeps popping into my mind, because this girl was doing this long thing on the orphan trains. And so she had looked into it, like where did it start and all that stuff. I think it's a lot more nefarious than just, you know, but in this storyline, there's this guy, this preacher guy, and he had heard about in Europe that they would place kids that didn't have families with other people in it so they could have a family. So in New York, which is just, is the whole thing's so weird. And so in New York, there was just all these orphan kids. There was tons and tons of orphan kids. They couldn't figure out where are all these orphan kids coming. And they formed gangs, and they were becoming like gangs of orphans and running the streets and stuff. So they decided, well, we got to get these kids families. So they decided they were going to start adopting them out. They were going to find homes for them. And so they started these trains. They would load them all up. They would give them a bath, give them something to eat, load them all up on these trains, and then just go out across the plains and stop at different stops. Get them out, line them up. Like, the only place I've ever seen this is when they've shown the stuff about slave markets. And so they get them out, line them up, and then the people who had the farms would come up and choose. And most of the men wanted boys, big, strong boys. Well, it's like, it's just total fucking slave labor. Oh, yeah, that was the big thing. That was the thing I wanted to say, because it was so huge in her NDE that I thought was really profound. So it was when she went through the tunnel thing and she came out. It was something that she was being shown was this. She had to look in this book or something too. Now, I can't remember how it all went together, but so she had to look in this book thing. It was like the history of our whole world. Like how I had seen it on a ride. She had it in a book, and she was seeing it but through a different perspective. So on mine, I was being shown, and because it'll show you through ways that you will understand. And so I understood what they were showing me with the ride and the cycles and how it just, it all goes, it's just a ride. It's a cycles. And so I had an understanding of what I was being shown. She was being shown, and she had an understanding of what she was being shown. She was being shown different. So she was going through all of the things. She had to go through and look at it. And it isn't like she had a book, but look, it was like a book that was like in front. You couldn't, it was like a screen. And so she was being shown all through history from the beginning. And so she had a witness about all the humans. And so she was watching, and she said it was so fucking much violence and so much war and so sad and so painful. And she said it was sickening to watch. She said at some point she told him that she can't watch it anymore. It's too horrible. And it was horrible. You could even tell when she was talking about it. But I go in there, I look and see things all the time. I look and see, and I know it's fucked, man. And so she could see all these different things that people do, and this stuff sticks out to me all the time. I always see this stuff, and so she, I just have this movie coming into my mind that I had just seen. It's True Lifetime movie of this woman. Sybil Shepherd's the one playing it, and weirdly enough, Steve Guttenberg was her husband. I hadn't seen him in so long, and he looked so much older, but still, I was glad to see him, be around still. And so, and Sybil Shepherd, she's such a strange one. She can play such a, so she is playing this wife. But the thing was, like, in our state of judgment, we would think, oh my God, what a horrible person. She's just horrible. How could you even do that? But then when you watch it, then I was like, oh my God, I can see why. I feel like I could relate to her somehow. I was like, oh my God, We could all be pushed into doing shitty things. No doubt about it. And this one, it's a true story. And this woman, her and her husband have been married for like 28 years or something. And they had nice stuff. They had a really nice place with property. They had their own little forest, their own house. They had chickens. And they had a super loving relationship. They were super sexual with each other. But she had these desires. Like she wanted more. And he was happy with simple. And she, and there's always, when there's these two alignments don't happen, there's always this putting down. Each person does it to the other person. They ridicule the person for who they are, for what they are. And so you have this, but it is really just two different people with two different aspects, two different ways of looking at things. And so, and I've been through this with a relationship, and everything, that I believed in was put down and ridiculed, and everything this person believed in was, the holy grail of life. And so I was always the weird, shallow, but the thing is when somebody's always ridiculing you and put you down, it can drive you fucking crazy. And then minimize what it is you want. And then even kind of like, there was a lot of things, he would do too that would make her feel like a slap in the face. Like she just wanted this, like, she started writing these romantic novels, and she joined this writing group. And so she had this group, and they were all friends, and they wrote, but I don't know, her writing was kind of like too fairy tale-ish. It wasn't like when she would send it into the literary people or whatever, it wasn't like a real, like where you could read it and like, oh, really get into that fantasy. It was like, it would be too far-fetched. And so then she decided she was going to start doing like shades of gray. But she read some of the pages, and I was like, this isn't quite, I don't think, what they're looking for. I was like, so I think she was following her hobby. She was like liking what she was doing, but she wasn't like super good at it at this point. But she was really into it. Like she went around like, I'm an author. And she's writing, and she writes mystery, sexy stories or something. And her husband, he is a chef, but he could be a chef to rich people, and make more money and have a restaurant and stuff like that. But he didn't want to do that. He's like, no, then people own you. I just want a simple life. And he likes to teach kids. So he had a chef's school. So he would teach kids how to become chefs. And but he was really into cooking for her. He would cook her all these big meals. And this one time it really hurt her feelings because he said something about he was taking her to Portugal. That's what her dream. She was trying to talk him into moving somewhere tropical, going somewhere. Let's go somewhere, move. Let's change our lives and stuff. He wanted to stay there and have his simple life. And then she did convince him, but to sell their house. But then he still wanted to stay next to their parents and their kids and stuff. And she wanted to go off and experience the world. She wanted to go out and feel and see and do things. And he would minimize it, and just come on, just, so anyways, he told her he was taking her to Portugal, and she's like, became this dreamy, like, oh my God, this is the most romantic thing. She was so excited. And he goes in the other room, like, he's going to come out, bring out the tickets. Instead, he brings out some sausages and starts explaining like how they cook them there, and that he's going to cook it for her. So she's going to have Portugal food. That was it. That's when she decided she was killing him. She was like done. She started getting all these insurance forms. She got a shit ton of them. It was like over the top. I was like, chick, you were getting busted right here. You're just like, you're not even good at what you do. And so she, but I could, where, when I went into the movie feeling so judgmental towards her, like, oh my God, how hateful. Like, just kill your husband just because, you know, I mean, when it started, you didn't even know why and why she killed him. But I was very just like, oh my God, how hateful. And she was so weird. And then when the story goes, and it's like, oh my gosh, but I could see, like, but she should have got divorced. Like, but she she had weird things with money. Like, she definitely had a spending problem. What was that one? There was something, she wanted more and wanted more. She wanted this fancier lifestyle. And all her friends in her literary club, like, they go to these fancy dinners, they go on trips, they go to seminars and shit together. And she couldn't keep up with all this stuff. And then she started, like, robbing Peter to pay Paul to do some stuff so she could do it. And her husband was like, you know, wanted to be supportive because she was so miserable. And so she just tried to live beyond her means. And so she had some humiliating experiences with that. And I think the people in her club could kind of see, like, she was kind of a fake. But then so she started getting all these insurance companies, or all these insurance policies. And she even went to work as selling insurance. And then she got some sort of commission, and then she had to pay the commission back. And so she was just getting more and more into these money problems. So she just started getting all these insurance policies on her husband. She had, like, several. It was over $1.5 million when you all added it up together. And then she started, it was so, when you watch the movie and you see how she comes at it, it's so methodical and going into it. Like, she always knew these questions that, like, she just showed up at his work, like, early in the morning. And, you know, and she wanted to use the bathroom. And he was just so happy that she stopped by. And she's just like, you know, I'm just worried about you being here. It just seems dangerous. Is there cameras? Is the doors locked? Like, all these questions and all this stuff when she's really, you know, planning what she's going to do. And then when she does it, she shows up there and fucking shoots him. He shoots him twice. He didn't die for it. I was like, oh my God, what is that like? You're dying. Like, I'm sure we've all had that experience. We've all been through it. We've all had that last moment of looking at somebody that we trusted that just killed us. And that was one thing, too, in her NDE, where she said that she had seen where she had killed somebody in another life, because she had to go through her other lives and stuff, too. And hers was really good. She was so good on explaining it. But I don't remember what she was saying about her past lives, though. But she did see that she had killed somebody. And that is, you'll find that in everybody's. Like, we can't sit here and be like, oh, yeah, see that stupid murderer? Oh, my God. Because we've all murdered. We've all done it. And you just got to find that side of yourself to see, oh, yeah, that person got driven. Like, I've been there, gotten driven there. It's hard. You gotta figure out a different way. You just don't want to do it. But that's what I've said, though, is you get these people who get trapped in this back and forth, and they go back and forth from life to life, killing each other. And it's like, and she said something about that, about when you, she said it's like when you kill somebody, or when you, I think she was talking about when you killed somebody, and then you have to go back in to this other life so that you have to play out the other side of it. And this is the same stuff I talk about, is you have to play out the other side of it. And so that is where we get this back and forth, where people get in these murder traps or something, just life after life. They just don't handle things. They just kill each other. Like, and then they have to go back in, and then they're like, oh, I did it again. It's just like a video game. It's just like, this is just like a video game. And then you get over there, and then you're just like, oh my God, I did it again. And each time it is like this motivation that you are sure you can do better. I feel like it's so much like that. Like, every time that you go into some lifetime, that you always think that you can do better. You always think you can master it. And just like every game that starts over in a video game, It's like you learned from the last one, and then you get to the challenging parts. The challenging parts are the parts that are hard to do. I had to make a fire. My fucking heater thing is blowing out cold air again. I don't know. It has anything to do with this tariff thing they've sent me now. Because I haven't filled that shit out. Just all this stuff. It just goes over and over in my head about, just not participating, not buying into their system. And, I don't know how to explain it, because this is like my self talk or something, especially like even with the stuff at the house, is it keeps being like, my self talk is, this isn't real. It's like we're in two different realities, because in one reality, we were all convinced we had to pay our bill. We had to do this. We had to do, well, and there was a benefit because you got a good credit score. So we lived this lifestyle. But then as you start awakening, it's a process. It's a deep process, because you go through a lot of things. And when I first started having mine, because I was already thinking like, how in the hell do they charge us for land? Like, that doesn't make any sense. How do they charge us for something they don't own? And I kept on, that just kept going. I would say that to people, and they would just be like, they just blank out like, I don't know, think about weird shit. And I was like, but no, I'm serious. Like, how do they charge us for things that they don't own? And so you start going through that. Then when you start finding out, like, oh, they can't. It's illegal. Everything they're doing is corrupt. It's just made up bullshit. All their fucking shit is made up bullshit. And we just play along like, okay, well, they said we had to do it that way. Well, we have to do it. Well, they'll put us in jail. And man, I have been really, really thinking about, like, God, cops and stuff. Like, every fucking thing you've done against human rights, this is where you're headed. Like, you are headed to face what you have gone against human rights. Like, all these fucking coppers, like, I would say probably they've all got a few things under their belts, no matter what it is, even if they just were being really super aggressive to somebody who shouldn't have been because they were in a group, and they could be, there's all these things, you're going to feel them. And there's going to be ones that are going to be, like, where these people have gotten off for, taking people out and stuff. It's going to be, no, it's not even going to be like double jeopardy. It is going to be just like a whole new charge is coming in, one that you don't see coming. And you've got these people who have been busily formulating all this stuff. Like, even when Donald went and met with all these people at the beginning of his term, and he went and met with them all, he was bringing in folders and giving them, I'm assuming he's growling like crazy, and giving them all folders of their crimes, and because he is a part of this takedown of them. No matter what other people want to think, he's a part of the takedown. You want to think he's good or bad or whatever, that's, it doesn't really matter. Like, there's probably a lot of people who are a part of the takedown who have done bad things. We've all done bad things. And, and part of doing bad things is you got to learn how to forgive yourself. But there's people who will be held accountable for crimes. That's the thing, is that the crimes are going to have a different value. It's a different, they have a different significance. And so there's like a hidden truth, a part that people don't see, a part that's coming that they didn't have awareness of, that it was a crime. And now they're going to be hit with, like, but that's the thing is, yeah, but you should have known, because your soul should have been telling you. And my soul tells me. So your soul should be telling you. That's the thing, is why I try to get across to people, is like, why, when they're like, no way, Donald's law, because he told everybody to go get these. So he's a part of it. He's a, I don't know, these people that call him, he's a blue, he's a Z, he's a psyop, like all these different things that these people are saying. I see it differently. And to me, whatever the what was I going to say? Whatever, all the people who are involved in the things aren't all perfect. And but he had taken all those packets. Oh yeah, because when he was talking about that thing. Okay, so yeah, when he was talking about these things, because I was watching him, and you could totally see what he was doing. Like, I knew not to take these. I knew something was up. I knew the whole thing was up because I knew they were lying, because they weren't saying things that were real. And like, I had medical background, so I knew something was up the whole time. And so, and that's what, to me, when I look at these other people who have medical background, it's like, what is wrong with them? Especially at this point, looking at these doctors, like, it's just like, what in the holy hell? Are you guys really just nimwits? Like, I can't believe we respected you guys for your minds. Like, what the hell? You have no fucking critical thinking, no ability to look outside the box, man. And so okay, now I gotta get back to what it was again. The people, the doctors, the sickness, the telling the people why your doctors don't see anything. It's so fucking weird. Oh yeah, so what I had seen where he was pulling these people up on stage and he was talking to them, he was getting them to say stuff. So he was getting them to say, I don't know how I explain it, because he'd be like, okay, so you're telling me that this is blah, 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 blah. And they'd be like, yeah, And so he was getting them on record, but I was like, I could see it. And I knew that the people were lying, so I saw what he was doing. And so to me, when people start saying, well, he's telling people to do that, I was like, no, he's telling you what they are telling him. He's showing that he was just as much a victim to them as anybody else, that they were lying straight ass to his face. That's what he's showing. He's not telling you anything. He's saying what he's doing. And besides the fact that what was in his that he got was different than what was in ours, that stuff will come out too. It's going to be coming out about the lies, but the whole thing is for each individual to start thinking for themselves. This is a big part of the awakening, is learning to think for yourself, pulling free from groups, learning to think for yourself, using your discernment, thinking about how you feel about something, looking about how you feel about it, thinking of it's coming from your perspective. That is what is the awakening is about. That is this big changing of things. And I'll say also, they're fucking attacking those fucking people in the Congo like crazy. Like, there's so much horribleness out there. I can't wait for these people to go down. I just saw a video of they're in these villages, trying to walk and leave, and they're getting bombed and stuff. It's like the same thing as what supposedly is going on in Gaza. Like, I fucking don't know. Like, there's so much bad stuff going in Hawaii right now too. Like, there's so much in Chile. It's weird. Like, how can they, look how big their organization is to be able to be in all these different places. And now there's something with George is investing into some other thing. I think all these people are definitely taken down. They took down Tom in 2020. They fucking took down George. No fucking way. He's a CGI character or a lookalike or something. I think a lot of these people, I think Gator is too. I think, I don't know, definitely Hillary. And now, they're pulling her up on stage and stuff. And now they're going to make Michelle's going to run like about the absurdity. First female president with a dick. I was like, give me a fucking break. This stuff is so absurd. It's just like, God, Cannot wait until it's all just exposed. It's just so ridiculous too. When you know some of the stuff and it's not like mainstream, and it's just like it's two totally different realities. The reality where the people are confused and angry and scared, but then there's the reality of us who have seen all the shit, and we're just standing over here on the shore, like waving our arms, you guys, you guys. But see, there's nothing we can do. They have to, their experience is going to play out the way it's supposed to play out. So whatever's going to happen, which is going, I know it has to do with this, the light turning on thing. It is the impact of not seeing what's coming. That is huge. And how many of them have all had different ones of us telling them, get prepared, get the, you know. So there is going to be this aha moment. This is going to happen. You know, I was making fun of them. I thought they were so crazy and so stupid. Now, boom. And so I feel like that this aha moment, this big boom, this big crisis is where they see themselves like, oh my God, why wasn't I listening? Why was I doing that? You know, where you have to reevaluate yourself. Look at yourself real quick. You know, how much you distract yourself, how much you pay attention, what you look at, what you think about, what you prioritize. And man, I don't even know. The government stuff just seems like it's just going like fast. The people, I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of spinning out. Like there's so much going on with different people coming in saying stuff. I don't know. There's something with this House guy. I don't know if it's Mike Johnson or something. Somebody's saying, you know, we're under this serious thing, which, yeah, because we're out there, you know, bombing everything. All you got to do is go listen to stuff Tucker is saying. He explains all the stuff. That's what he's there for. He's all these different things. Like it's all set up. Elon talking about this, all of them, it's all set up. And I just saw a clip. Somebody shared a clip of Juan. I just saw it for a couple seconds. But he said, too, he said everything is being thought. I mean, everything that is happening is like a computer is telling him every day what to do. And so it's all like the computer, I think it probably has some sort of access. So it knows what we're talking about. It knows how we're looking at things and stuff. And so it is telling them, like, you know, I think that's why things are speeding up. Things are going faster and things are happening faster and faster. And it's swirl, but it's going to be like this big boom. And where everybody thinks it's going to be the end, but it's going to be the beginning. It's like this boom that turns us in the other direction. But it's all this leading up to it, you know, to understand what the U.S. is. You know, that we're the slaves that support the king and the queen. It's our money. That's what we got to work for. And they've been lying to us the whole time. And so and it's so crazy too, because it's just like they just stuck a pacifier in everybody's mouth and told them to go to work. And everybody just goes, okay, well, can I maybe win that thing up there too? Can I get a raise sometime? Can I get a new house? But then all of a sudden everything started going south, you know, where it's so crazy. There's like apartments that were $650 a month a couple years ago. Now they're charging like $2,500 a month or something. So it's ridiculous. Their inflation and stuff, like their greed and everything. And then plus they get too many people in there, too many greedy people. You get all these fucking developers and contractors, and they are shady. Oh God, they are shady motherfuckers. And you get so many of them. The greed, the darkness just takes over and collapses on itself. And so that's what we're in this, you know, experience going through. And just the amount of disclosure stuff. Like I just watched this woman talking about that she was at the Grove when she was a little kid. And she was talking about the Valentine's Day ceremony. You know what we just had. And it's a huge ceremony, and lots of kids lose their lives, and it's horrible and disgusting. And so, I don't know. I mean, this week, you know, they're just doing, this is, now we're towards the end of the week. Ooh, today's the 17th. I'm pretty sure today's the 17th. That'd be cool if they did something on 17. But, you know, who knows when it's going to go down. You would think that the computer would make some kind of special, like throw us a bone, something kind of cool. I don't know. But I do think that everything is based on how this is dragging out. It's like the computer is the one that says, you know, disclose this, let this information out, put this information out. And, you know, they're ready for this, they're ready for that. Because it's this slow kind of opening. And any of us who have people who are still caught up in the matrix, in the 3D world, then you can tell, like, they are questioning things, they are looking at things, they're thinking about things in a different way. So it's all working. Everything is working. It really is. And I think they're trying to just get it. The biggest thing to me is what they're trying to do is that this other part that's going to happen. So when it flips and people start seeing the truth, there's going to be so much anger and outrage. That is what they're trying to minimize, because so they're trying to do it real slow and in this like slow, drug out kind of really tedious way to get people to wake up in this like it's super slow way, rather than this abrupt thing, because this abrupt thing is going to happen and it's going to be like this shock. And then the reaction when people start realizing and freaking out, because you've already got people, you've already got so many people too who are all just constantly, it's time for us to, it's time for violence. It's like, that is what that girl was just saying in her NDE, like the thing with humans. It's sad that they're just saying, they're are perpetuants, they're always lean into violence, and they hurt each other, and they kill each other. They always lean into violence. They always fight. They always argue. There's so much violence and aggression and warring through our history. And that is what we're here to change. So, yeah, that energy, what I am talking about, that violence and that anger and bitterness, that's the energy that's leaving. That's why if you got it in you, you need to be purging it out. Otherwise, you can just go. I mean, it's not like it's going to be bad. It's not like you're going to hell. You're damned to hell now. No, it's just part of your lessons or whatever. Or you're going home, or that was your flight plan, whatever. So it's not like you're doing anything wrong. And but all of the things are here so that the people can make changes and look at things differently. And this is this big purging out. And so all that energy is leaving. So all these people who are, you know, let's have some violence. It's time to be violent. No, it's time to be smart, to be wise, to pull free, to learn your own strength, to learn your own value. And the more that we pull free, the more that we all come together. We don't need them. Like, we don't need, I mean, yesterday the plastic surgeon's office called. So I got to talk to him. And I explained to her what I wanted. And she was like, is anyone else doing that? And I was like, yeah, there's a bunch of doctors. So I'm trying to find one. And so she said she'll talk to him and she'll call me back. She hasn't called me back yet. So I'll probably call back this morning. But even if they say no, they're not going to do it. I mean, it just keeps being more and more clear to me that the unethical practices in doctors, especially right now when they're doing there's a shit ton, like so many of these class action lawsuits. Amazon is already on one for their price gouging, all these different ones for this price gouging and stuff. Well, that's what the doctors are doing. They're doing surgeries and stuff that doesn't need to be done to do extra so they can get money. They don't need to do all that extra stuff. Like I was thinking about, so they start saying, well, we really want to we'll do it, but we want, you need to take the, what is that stuff called? Conscious sedation. And I'm going to tell them, no, I'm not taking the, because I was going over this all night long, the conscious sedation thing. For one thing, I've got super low blood pressure and super low heart rate. And so they can't give it to me. Every time you give it, I just will start going down. So then you have to stop. So it's a waste of my fucking money to pay to have an anesthesiologist come in, to have all this shit put onto me, and have a whole fucking team in here for something that I already know is not going to work. That is fucking price gouging. You're doing shit that is unnecessary. You're talking about a foreign fucking object. This is not something that grew in me. This isn't a part of me. This is a fucking foreign object. This is a goddamn piece of plastic. And it's fucking simple. It's not attached to anything. Just make a little incision, pull the motherfucker out. Well, first, before you pull it out, you got to drain it. You drain it, but you just snip a fucking thing in it, drain it into a cup. I don't give a shit. And you drain it in 2 seconds. And then pull the empty sac out. And then sew me up. And then bandage me. That's all you gotta fucking do. And I'm irritated about the whole fucking thing. And about it's so much. I was like, there's gonna be class action lawsuits on fucking doctors and medical practice and shit. I'm gonna talk about price gouging and fucking insurance companies and all this fucking shenanigans all on us. This is what they do to us. So anyways, I don't know what's gonna happen about that. And, I just got to keep going with the flow. Like, I know it's going to happen. I know there's somebody who's going to do it. I know that there's a ethical doctor or the med beds or something. Like, I know that they're going to be out, and I can't get caught up in the drama to get there. So I know it's coming. So whatever happens with this one, I'll just move on to the next one. But also, I just saw in Arizona, they're opening up a whole bunch of things that sound like med beds, and they look like a little room, and you go into this little room and it's something with healing and stuff. So I don't know where in Arizona, I just saw the footage of it, and somebody was sharing it saying, this sounds like med beds, doesn't it? And so it sounds like that there's more, but there's going to be more and more of that. So that, it could very well be that that's where they're going to get my implants will come out, and I won't have to go through any kind of intrusive surgery. They could be having them being set up around us right now, and we just don't know. And then all of a sudden, when everything starts crashing in the medical and stuff, but that's the thing that they're worried about. To me, is the anger and violence, which I think that is going to bring the most anger out is going to be the medical. I think that's going to override the money. Especially because the money is there's going to be a good thing that's going to happen from that. We just don't know how quick. But, being relieved from all that and everything to go down and become affordable again. So that is going to be a good. But the medical, that's where it's going to be nasty. Because people who have gone through a lot with their health, and people who have lost people, especially when they didn't have to, because that is just a part of it where we have to just go through it. It is like people were supposed to die from the last reality, but we're going into this other time where we have this realization that we don't have to die. So there's this, it's like a thing, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be like, well, why did my family member die? Why did they have to go? But this is where you guys see there was a purpose to that. They had to go because it's going to make me cry. Hold on. Sometimes you can just feel it. Because it is that they, it's like it had to go that way because it was there to teach you. So there's this, it's like this splitting of these realities. It's way different than what people think. It's like you have to let go. That was supposed to be. Everything that happened in that reality was supposed to be. Nobody was doing anything wrong. Nobody was doing it wrong or being wrong or any of that. Fuck, I'm feeling so emotional. I guess that's because so many people are going to feel like that. They're going to feel like they did it wrong. They didn't do it wrong. There is no wrong. Hold on. Man, it's weird when it's like you can feel it inside of you. I guess that there are going to be so many people that is going to be hard for them to understand. What was real in that reality was real. That is the way it was supposed to go. That is what we were there to learn from, to experience. So it was supposed to go that way. We were going to lose people and go through go through all that different loss, because it all has lessons. It all has like things that we learn from it. So it is what creates the change. That's the thing, is when you're going through these change and then you have people who don't understand, and they think they have some sort of control, and they want to go back in and fix it, or they think they're doing it wrong, or they think they should have, would have, could have done all. It's like, no, you got to let go of all that. You got to let go of it all. It happened exactly the way it was supposed to happen. There was nothing you could do. It didn't matter if you went right when you instead of going left. None of that stuff mattered. Everything happened exactly the way it's supposed to happen. And I had shared this video with, I sent it to Crystal for some reason. I was thinking Sarah, but then I sent it to Crystal. But because Sarah had lost a child, and I was talking about this one lady, and she keeps doing these videos. And she had lost her child, and she's just going through so much pain. And because I was talking to Sarah about, she is, it takes like this, a deeper state of consciousness to move through. So your spiritual connection give you, to move you through this stuff. And there's so many people who don't have that. And, Sarah is doing really good with what she's going through. And I was like, man, and she's a good writer if you read her thing. And I was like, you could be helping. There's people out there who need help. Like this lady, her child died 4 years ago, and she is in so much pain. The loss of a child is some of the hardest pain to go through. But there's so much loss going on, and all that loss has to occur, because that is what creates the change, the compassion, the caring. Like all these bad things that happen have a good thing that comes from them. So there's bad things that happen, yeah, and it's hard to go through. But that's why you got to keep remembering, this isn't real. This isn't real. Everyone that you think you're losing is still there. They're right there. You just can't see them. And so it feels like you're losing. But that is the part that gives you the growth. That's the part that makes the change in you, is that feeling the loss. So those are the things that, people go through for the growth, the evolution. We've been doing it for a long fucking time, coming into these horrific life experiences, and go through horrible things so that we can learn and grow and expand the universe and all its knowing and knowledge, and become more bigger and brighter souls as we go through it. And our aura and our essence becomes more evolved and more precious. And let me think for a second, because there was something, is the people, the souls, it's just oh yeah, because there's just this thing that we're going through is difficult, because there's so many people who forgot who they are. So we have all that to go through. That's the awakening. Remember, who you are, where you come from, what you're doing here. So you awaken back to what's real, and realize that you're in a place that's not real. And so all of that part of the awakening. But then when you are reality shifting, because we're shifting out of this old reality, where we went through certain experiences because we learned from them. Now we're shifting in experiences. And so then when we go into this part of like learning that you don't die, you don't have to die, there is no death, there's no aging, this is all artificial, and it's all about your it's just your life experience, it's just your moment in time, and to feel alive, to see what it's like to feel this or feel that, or watch yourself experience this or that. And so it is, but the experiences are changing, but there is going to be so much frustration. There's going to be so much frustration and anger, bitterness, you know, husbands who lost their wives and have small kids, wives who lost their husbands and have small kids, husband and wives who lost their kids. Like, there's so much where people are going to be, I mean, there is even some parents who lost adult kids who've lost parents. But there's going to be such a profound experience that they go through. That is what I think they're trying to minimize, is that loss of like, but it's gonna, it's what I think it kind of is what leads us to this metaphysical, like all the people, like, well, if they're not really dead and they're really here, how do I connect with them? So that is what leads us into this metaphysical, like bringing in everything together. But it's like, but the veil is thinner, because the only way it was thicker because you couldn't have all the experience. It was just too much stimulation. That's why you have all these autistic kids who have to reduce their stimulation because it's so intense. So you have all this stimulation in the simulation, and so you get this veil put on so that you can focus on your stuff. You don't have to see and understand all this stuff, but all this other stuff is out there. But I don't know if that is, you know, how it is that we bring heaven to earth. I don't know, but I really feel like that is what this supercomputer is trying to reduce. I always, every time when I go into that part and I think about when people realize about the stuff with the medical, the anger and the sadness and the disappointment, the pain, it's super painful. It's super painful. It's not like people are just like jumping for joy. Oh, I get to live forever now, because it's like, so I get to live forever without the person I love. Oh, it made me cry again. It's sad. But that is a part of, I think that's what they're trying to reduce, with stuff to just keep being leaked out. And it's tedious and it's hard, and, you know, people are just drained and overwhelmed. And Juan said something that was kind of snotty, but he always has kind of that snotty thing, because he was kind of like, oh, you want to complain? You want to think it's hard? Well, tough. Whatever it was, I don't know. But so he's making like the computer doesn't give a fuck how tough we think it is. You know, I don't know. But that's what I think is the computer is the one that keeps making it go so slow, because the computer picks up on the reduction of the trauma further out, the slower it goes. So I think that's what I think. And so anyways, but there's going to still be, because everything is leading up, so we're still so close. We're so close to it all going. And that one lady that was at the Grove for the Valentine's thing when she was a kid, you know what? Which they just do a lot of bad stuff. And she said there was a whole bunch. She was sold to a woman who owns an NFL team, which I don't know who that is. I don't know how many women own NFL teams, but she was sold to her as a child. And then in at this one Valentine's thing that she was at, which then they take them. They take them from one place and they take them to another place. And these rituals keep going. This is like goes for 12 hours or 24 hours or something. It's really long. And she said 2 of the bushes were there. I don't know which ones. I don't even. This was way back. Oh, if 2 of them were there, I would think it would be the husband and wife, not Jeb or George Jr. I bet it was his wife and him. But his wife, I think, is a man too. I think a lot of those, I don't think Michelle was the first lady. I always thought that one. And then people get so offended, like, oh my God, you're so judgmental, you're so hateful. Like, but doesn't that look like a man? And wasn't just that one. Who else was it? Somebody else's spouse looks just like a man who was a president. I can't remember who it was. I don't know. There's people who are saying Jackie was a man, so I don't think Jackie was a man. But I do think that Barbara was a man. She just looks like a man. But I swear to God, there was another one too. I was like, that is a dude. And then Michelle comes along, and I thought Michelle was just a big woman. I didn't know Michelle was a dude. And not until, when they started Joan saying it. And then, but the thing is all the footage of fucking, it's like he doesn't strap it down. He just lets it dangle. Like he's just trying to laugh at people. Like walking around being all like glamorous first lady with his dick just waving in his pants and stuff. Like, what? This is so weird. All this stuff is so weird. It's just so weird. It's like they just keep trying to do things just to, thumb you in the face. So it's like they're always just got the big fuck you on you. Fuck you, fuck you. But their big fuck yous coming back on them. All their hatefulness is coming back on them. And anyways, so that is this splitting of the realities is so much that you have to let go. Because what was in that reality was what was supposed to be. What is coming in the new reality is what is to come. It's not the same. They're totally different realities. And so there is a transformation. There's a transformation that has to occur in your understanding, in your perception, in order to, traverse the changes that are occurring. And so it is, it's, I don't know, this is a powerful time of change. And there is a lot going on. And I know that has a lot to do in your mind. Like for me on this stuff, I don't know what's to come. But I keep saying, well, I've already learned these lessons. I'm not going to lose this house. I've already learned these lessons. I've already gone through that. That's not what's happening. This is what's happening is the splitting of realities, my awareness of the one reality. I've got to push into that reality and let go of that reality. So even if they come and say stuff, I definitely would say stuff back. If they, go and sell my house and somebody shows up and says, well, you're going to have to move out. We bought your house. And I'm going to say, well, you can't buy my house because I'm not selling it. Like, I have been tending this land for 5 years. You can't, the bank doesn't own it. The bank has no say over it. It's me and this land. So, and they try and bring the cops, and I'm going to start telling the cops, like, you're going against my human rights. I hope you're ready for the punishment that comes with that. Like, I'm not going to just bend over. Like, I don't know what's going to go down, and it could get embarrassing, I guess. I don't know. I've definitely been embarrassed before, so I hope that the whole fucking thing just hurry up and crashes before we get there. But hurry and get my packages here. My packages aren't going to be here till Monday. I'm like, I want my packages. And then fucking crash this shit. Let those fucking banks crash. We'll let everybody get their packages, but not everybody knows. So everybody's going to keep ordering stuff. So there's no matter what. There's going to be packages left somewhere. There's going to be stuff left somewhere. because there's going to be there's going to be people who aren't even sorting. There's going to be people who are going to just not be there. People are just not going to go to their jobs. They're going to get up, the banks crash, and there very well could be that they tell us that we're locked down and we can't leave. We're not supposed to go to work. We're supposed to stay here. But that is where it's going to really freak some people out, because they're not going to be prepared. You're going to be like, well, how am I supposed to stay here? I don't even have any fucking food. How am I supposed to stay here? And that's the part that is going to be the awakening part. If that's how it goes down, there's always this part that leads to this part. Well, damn, I should have paid a better attention. What was I missing? You know, how was I not paying attention? I just saw this girl doing this fucking perfect breakdown, and she was really irritated on the love and light people, but boy, she said it so perfect. And but it's the same thing as what I keep saying, is that these people are completely off. Don't be following along with them. They are trying to, they're coming at it. The whole thing is backwards way. I mean, you'll see when the awakening happens for them, they think they're awake, but they're not awake yet. But when it happens, you'll see they're gonna be surprised, because you can't just fucking focus on love and light. You can't just pretend like the rest of the world is not happening and then put people down and tell them they're low vibration and shit, because they are being present in the world. It's like, so those people have got a whole lesson, just like all these Christians and stuff, all these religious people sitting here waiting for a savior. But you got all these patriots who are waiting for Trump to come in and save them. All these people who are waiting for a savior, waiting for something. It's like, you are your savior. You've got to be coming at this. You've got to be aware. You got to be paying attention. You got to be your own champion. You got to be your own advocate. You got to be doing the work and trying everything. Like, try everything. Like, I'm just sad. She calls and gets her dog put down before she's even tried that, because she thinks her dog's too weak to try that. It's like, man. Like, I know Vortex remembers. Like, I called. I had already had the doctors were coming. They messaged me in the morning because I had messaged, because she couldn't get up. And I was just like, what the fuck? I mean, how do you have a 175-pound dog that can't get up? And so I didn't know what to do. Well, now, like, I've learned some things. She was weak because the floor, she couldn't get she needed some traction. So that's why I got these rugs. And the first rugs I put in were just like some old hand-me-down rugs. Now I got this other one, but it, you know, she's like the size of livestock. Like, I don't know where I thought this rug would stay nice. But anyways, I have to have the rug so it gives her traction so she can get up. And so, but in the morning when she couldn't get up and her face is drooping, and it was horrible. And I thought, you know, this is it. I can't keep her going through this. Like, fuck. And let's see what's about to start. Another one of the same things. It's like another tree. So when that happened, and I had messaged them, and then they messaged me in the morning and said that they were coming, but I don't know what I don't remember. But then I said, no, don't. I'm going to try something else. And then I had the neighbor come over and help me, and we pulled Stella up. Like, I used something, leverage, like underneath her, pulled her up, and we got her out. She couldn't walk. She was falling and falling. And we got her outside and got her to the bathroom and got her back inside. And so then my daughter came over, and then we were doing that, and we kept lifting her. And my daughter, I don't know, it's kind of like a sisterly thing, because Stella will listen to Kay a lot. And so she was listening to her, and she would do what she'd say. And my daughter would be like firm, like, you got to get up, you got to do this. And so, anyways, we were doing better. And so she was getting better. But that is still like way off. That was when I was that was right before I went to the med beds, which the med beds that we had available then are not like the med beds now, which I don't even know if they'll let us take our dogs into the med beds, because that is against their human right, their living rights, to extend their life if their life you know, if they came in for a certain amount of time and we're like, nope, you're staying here. So I don't know. There's ethical, super spiritual things, like, and that's the part of the spiritual part where people have to wake up to. There's like a spiritual efficacy. And so anyways, I don't know. But I took her to the med bed, and, you know, and that was horrible. Like, she fell out of the car. It was horrible. I tried to get her out to go to the bathroom. She couldn't walk. It was hard. And I got her into the med bed. We went in, we spent the night, and we came the next day, and I was like, okay, she's a little bit better. She's a little bit better. And so got her back in the car, and then I drove to my ex's, to where his sister's farm, and went there, and then we ended up staying a couple days. And so she just was out there on the farm. She was walking around. She was breathing all that air. She'd walk around and sniff the flowers and all the vegetables. It's a big farm, and she loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is what I need. And she's just walking around, and she was so much better by the time we left there. Even my ex was just like, oh my gosh, she's doing so much better. And he kept talking about, is he has one that she had gone to the groomers. It was a dachshund. She'd gone to the groomers, and the groomer hurt her back. And they thought that they were going to have to put her down. And the dog's got a lot of problems. And anyway, so he had gone through some stuff. But he said the walking up the little hill has helped her so much. So, and Stella did that hill over and over. And that's what we have out here. And so I always take her out for a little walk on the hill. But that helps. But now, to the point where we are, to where we came from, because that is when her health was really, really going down. And it has been going up ever since. But definitely, I would not, the horse paste, it gets rid of, there's so much toxins inside of them. I wish Kelly would listen and do that first thing. Why are they even up discussing? Like, God, it's so, especially because the dog she's talking about, Maisie, is like her child. She has a sister, Millie and Maisie, and she's always got Maisie. There's like video after video, so you get like hooked on these dogs. And then it's like you can see this special bond she has with Maisie. And it's like, dude, you got to try everything. Try the horse pace. I don't know. That's just what I've done out of my desperation to not lose her. But the improvement, like, it's a huge improvement. Like, her coat now, oh my gosh, her coat, the smell of her nose used to be all dry and chunks would be coming out. Her nose is perfectly black and smooth and velvety now. Like, there's just so many things. Our dogs are suffering, and it's up to us to notice. Our pets, cats too. Just because I have dogs, but it's cats too. It's all of it. It's the animals out in the fucking yard that I feed. It's all of it. They're all suffering, and they're all sick. So, I don't know. Sad. I hope that she's gonna try it and see. But anyways, I can just say to you guys, just keep trying all this stuff. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Try everything, you know, that you can for all your stuff. And so on my thing, I have been doing this, like 3 or 4 times a day, going through this whole thing and doing all of this massage. And I swear it's getting flatter, but it still is really sore too. Like, I'll feel places where it's like, God, is that an injection site? Like, fuck. But keep moving this stuff. And I'm telling you, the moving this has made a difference over how stopped up my nose was. So the moving the what is it called? Lymph. The moving the lymph around, because the lymph is what the swollen spots. So you just keep moving it around and getting it down. And so I don't know. To me, I keep feeling like I feel like my skin's getting better, my hair is getting better, my eyebrows are getting darker. I want to color them in, but it's like, no, we got to just see. We got to watch them fill themselves in. So, and And I want to put on some mascara, but I just haven't put any on because it's goddamn the fucking middle of the night. It's 3:30 right now. In all these days, when I start these when I start the downloads, it's always start immediately as soon as I finish. And you see the fluctuation in time. It trips me out. It can go on at 5:30. It could go on at 6:30. It could go on at 10:30. It's like, it's so strange. And I don't know if they've got a whole bunch of videos going on. I don't know if it's my internet. I don't know. It's the strangest thing. But anyways, I do start them all the same. It's when they go on is out of my control. So anyways, I'll start this one, and I'll remind you again to love yourself, love everybody, and have a loving day, and I'll talk to you later.